When you're talking about success in college hoops on the women's side, you had to put Dawn Staley in South Carolina in the conversation. The Hall of Famers turned South Carolina into a powerhouse for the last decade. And when we're talking about the postseason, USC has become a staple there. We're not too far removed back from her moment back in 2017, where Gamecocks won it all, something that's been fueling them moving forward as well. So South Carolina has one of the great ones at the helm. 13 seasons there in Columbia. Mentioned that Chip 4 years ago was named 2020 Naismith Coach of the Year, four-time SEC Coach of the Year as well. And talk about stuff in the stat sheet as a player, which he came along and played in the Olympics, now delivering as the HC for Team USA as well. All right, joining us now on behalf of Under Armour head coach of the Gamecocks, Dawn Staley. Appreciate your time, Coach. Before we get into it, I want to look back a little bit at this season. Reaching the Final Four 3 times in 6 years. A lot of hoops and ladders for a lot of teams with the pandemic. How did you kind of stay focused on your goals over that time?
I think just being in a pandemic, a lot of people will look at the worst part of it. And the worst part of it is it's not our norm. We have a new norm. So you have to bend with the times. You can't be the same way. You can still have the same core values and same philosophy, but you have to look out and see who you're coaching and how they're responding to your coaching and how they're responding to their new environment. And I was really fortunate in that we had players who they would do anything just to play. So if that meant we got to test every day, they're going to be there on time and happy to do that. If we have any interruptions in our schedule, we get in front of it. We talk about it, and we don't leave room for them to think, oh, whoa, it's me. No, it's us in the midst of trying to navigate through a pandemic. I think that is the key through all of it, is just communicating and making sure that everybody's okay and giving them a safe space to just talk about it. Because there are some challenging days when you're in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah, staying mentally tough and competing at that level. I want to talk about a special moment for you during the tournament. Your sister Tracy battled leukemia. Like most of us, we were separated from our families during the pandemic, but you had a chance to see her in San Antonio. I'm curious, what was that like for you, and how did you stay mentally tough for your team, as well as with having her there as well?
The very thing that makes us up as athletes and coaches and people that are in sports, I often compare sports to, in this analogy, it is you have to be 4 times as mentally tough as you do physically tough. And when something hits you, like your sister being diagnosed with leukemia, all of those things, you're familiar with those feelings and you're familiar with what you need to do. You got to compartmentalize, put your life on hold, and zero in on the task at hand. And my sister's health was that. And it was actually a blessing in disguise that it was during the pandemic, in which I had lots of time. I would have taken the time regardless, but we weren't doing anything in May and June and July. But it took us all the way to November for my sister to get a clean bill of health. But it takes that kind of mental toughness, stamina to get through that. And I think sports, being in sports all of my life, helped me in that moment. So, although you're trying to win basketball games and use your mental toughness and strength through outfoxing your opponent, but when the opponent is life, you thank sports for helping you build that up to where you can endure anything as long as you keep the right mindset.
I know it's a special moment you won't forget, of course, for a very long time. But, of course, we all know your work extends outside of South Carolina, also coaching Team USA. You won as a coach and a player. I know you keep your eye on that streak a little bit, want to keep that alive. How do you kind of describe your competitive mindset when preparing for moments like this?
My mindset is it doesn't differ from when I played in 3 Olympic Games or when I was an assistant coach for another 2. Now that I'm the head coach, it doesn't differ. I think that is what makes our USA basketball team so successful, in that our mindset is one goal, gold or failure, And when you know that the pressure's that high, you just want to get back. You want to get to where you are, where you normally are. You know, the stakes are higher, but you want to stay in the space of what got you to be successful. And for us, it is approaching it the same way. Although, you know, we are still in a pandemic, you have to approach it as if this is the only thing that matters. Anything outside of playing a game and winning a gold medal can pick up after you step down from that podium with that gold medal around your neck. And, you know, compartmentalizing is a big key in being successful in our sport. And that's no different if it's here at USC or it's in, in Japan and that huge stadium that we'll play in.
Coach, I mean, we all know you have a stacked resume from Temple to WNBA Hall of Famer to national champion at South Carolina. How has the way you train your mind changed over time here?
Well, I think with me and training my mind, I really take the onus off of me and put it on somebody else, because you have to be conscious of working with young people, working with people who haven't had the opportunity to build mental stamina. They're building it as young people right now, but for me, it's just about instilling in them all the exercises that I use that keep my mind strong. And you know, the biggest thing is you take on what you can take on in each moment. You can't let the moment get outside of what it is, or else you'll skip some steps. So handle everything that comes your way at that moment. Don't put it off for tomorrow, because it tends to build up, and then you get in a place where you just try to get through it and it's not your best work.
All right, head coach John Staley of the Gamecocks here in South Carolina. Appreciate your time as always, and stay healthy and stay happy. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.